Good morning. My mom is a science teacher, which is why perhaps as a kid I was very curious. I think this curiosity traveled with me when I went to my engineering college. So first year in my college, um, you expect, all your life you've been expecting you would do really good projects in college. But first year of college, like most of you know, it's more about the theory and more about getting the fundamentals right. Uh, so I was actually in this curious pursuit to find the real good projects to work on. And that is when the constant search helped me understand there was this project on brainwave mapping, and I joined that project. So a year down the line, that project kind of did fail. But this newfound fascination for brainwaves and the love for neuroscience kept me going to the point where I started my own project where we took the advancements of neuroscience and we tried putting that into the daily life of common man, something that can help you relax better. Now, this was more like my girlfriend project. I would spend all my extra pocket money on it. I would spend all my free time thinking how I could make it better. And there were endless nights in my hostel room where I would simply work on this project, even when I knew this probably would not help me with my grades or in my career. But I believed in doing this, and I knew it had some value being created. So I kind of went with it. Now, speaking of grades, I was not the best of students in school, in college. So I was the opposite of it. I really did screw up my exams a lot, the theory papers mostly, to the point where my teachers kind of, kind of confronted me saying that, what is happening with you? Why are you not performing well? So this, and at the same time, I was doing a different project that was totally off syllabus in my college curriculum. Now, the more I worked on this thing, many people said because I was dealing with neuroelectronics, which is a very far field of neuroscience, and beyond the scope of the setting that I was in, be it Kochi or be it CUSAT, this was kind of research oriented. So you're going to have challenges. It's best that you work on something meaningful. But then for some reason, I had that confidence to believe in my gut, and I did not stop. Now, the more I persisted, the more doors started opening up. I was lucky enough to be assisted by different professors from different universities in India. So, like I did get associated with Indian Institute of Science, and I went to meet a professor there in the neuroscience department to meet him for an hour, and I ended up staying there for a week. Now, along with this, I was lucky to find equally crazy people in my college who were passionate about building things on their own and indulging in self-learning. So this kind of became more like a family where we would learn and teach each other. We hosted a lot of, we celebrated actually the meaning of learning and teaching others. We even hosted a lot of these maker events in our college and different places across the state. One of them being the Maker Party CUSAT, which was almost the biggest maker event that happened that year. We had almost 4,000 people coming in for that one specific event. So here what we did was we kind of helped others learn and also learn from them. This community that kind of hosted this event kind of stuck on even when the event got over. So we had a small WhatsApp group where we all, even met after the event got over, learning and, helping each other learn. Now, the interesting point here was that all the people in this sort of group was from different branches and different batches and different branches, but all united by the common goal of being curious and the urge to learn. Now, all was going well. This was my final year of my college. But 3 months down the line, 3 months before my graduation, I had a huge road accident. So this was totally unexpected. It undoubtedly pulled all my whatever that I had done so far on my project and the connections that I had made, the motivation, the momentum, everything took a back setting. Now, the only time I went out in that 6 months was either to write my exams or to go to the hospital. So being restricted at home for 6 months kind of helped me understand the value that we have when we are independent. Now, this kind of made me more frustrated that I was stuck at a place and made me want to do so much more when I got back on my feet. So the first time I went out for a different event than for the either the hospitals or the exam was for a hackathon after 6 months. So I went to the hackathon with a crutch, funnily, what happened was we ended up winning the hackathon. So this was kind of a very good motivation. Like we were starting back from square one again after 6 months, having lost all the momentum, and I was really not healthy too. So, but then the fire did not stop there. Because that there was this fire to do a lot more when I got back on my feet. I started applying to a lot of different opportunities that came my way, things that were out of my league. So one of them was the Accenture's Innovation Jockey Contest. It is a national event, and we ended up winning the runner-up position there. So this was across like different teams, like almost 3,000 people from all over India competing for that one prize, but then we ended up winning. So what happened after that was we kind of had a proper startup in place. We got selected by these MNCs to work together. One of them was this partnership deal with Intel as part of their Intel Accelerator program, where we also got seed funded. Right after that, we were part of the Bosch Accelerator program, where we worked with Bosch as technology partners to develop our technology. So things were going well, and then the surprise came, which was winning the national award from Rashtrapati Bhavan for innovation. The award was called the Gandhi Young Technology Innovation Award. From 3,000 from over 3,000 applications, I was selected for that one award. Now, the interesting part here was that almost all out of the 15 who got selected for the award, almost 12 of them were from the branded research institutes like IITs and IICs. And I was here with a BTech degree in my hand, kind of, not having the research background as they did. So this was a huge motivation, and the 15 lakh rupees that I got as award, for that, the prize kind of kept my research going forward. Now, so this kind of opened many other doors too. I was selected for the Rajiv Circle Fellowship in San Francisco. It was a month-long fellowship program in Silicon Valley to learn the true ethos of innovation and the culture of paying it forward. So we got to visit a lot of different research universities, research labs across the Bay Area. And this, I believe, greatly improved my exposure and the learning that I had. So if you go back, yeah, so this was the picture there. Now, to boil down everything, like if you fast forward the story, that small project that I was doing in my college hostel, where I did not know where this would go or how this would benefit me, kind of became a startup right now. And it's more like a proper startup with, we have like having a product inside. Now, if you really look at the whole journey that I did, there were 4 things that profoundly impacted my story. So the first was the confidence my life at the university, specifically the CUSAT, gave me in chasing challenges or questioning the status quo. We, being students of CUSAT, I think everybody who graduates out of CUSAT would agree on this. We have this confidence to take an exam or a project or any thing without resources. So that kind of helped me a lot in taking things way out of my league onto my plate. And one thing that I found there was most of us are limited by the geographical boundaries that we think is there. Now, when I say think, you find that like you have the magical, like you have the thought that you would magically do better had you been in IISc or in IIT or in the Stanfords of the world and not in CUSAT. But truth be told, you have almost the exact same resource being wherever, like let's say in CUSAT or let's say in Stanford. Like the same amount of, the same quality of Google is available in both the universities. It's just that you have to make use of it and you should not inhibit yourself. Now, the second learning that I want to talk about is about the peer-to-peer learning system that we had in college, the one that I mentioned earlier. Now, technology improves at a very fast rate. Often people complain that when they come to college, college does not really help them teach all these new emerging technologies. Yes, it's true, because when you say college, at least the curriculum that we have right now is about laying the foundations, and foundations are very more important. The responsibility to learn the new technologies are onto yourself. You can't expect, because the technologies change every 2 years, 3 years, the rate is fast, you can't expect the same curriculum to incorporate all of that. So the best way to learn these is learning how to learn different technologies. And that is exactly what peer communities help you, you know, overcome. So here what happens is that you are motivated a group of your colleagues who are also chasing a different set of problem like never before, and also aiding each other learn and also understand better. Now, this helps you tackle a new technology or a new resource with very limited help that you have. And so the event that I said, the maker party that we hosted back in 2014, the community that hosted the event was true in its cause. Like everybody was curious, we wanted to learn, we wanted to help teach others learn. Now, 3 years down the line, this is a non-profit called as the TinkerUp Foundation, where we go around colleges helping, you know, doing that paid forward scheme where we help others learn and also take some learning from them. Now, the third thing that I felt very useful in my life was the art of applying to almost everything. I never did not apply to a thing thinking that it was way out of my league. I used to apply to almost everything that I could get my hands on. Had I not applied to that Intel's program, I would not have got selected for that and received the seed funding. Had I not applied to the national award thing, I would not have got it. So most of the times, you are limited by your thoughts that you would not win it than by the actual fact that you would win it or not. So I would like to, like there's a saying that you miss 100% of the shots you never take. So that is something that really kept me going. Now, the final thought that helped me in this process was more about the whole feeling that marks aren't the only thing that defines you. Marks are important, but just because your marks are low doesn't mean that you're bad. I often saw in my classrooms that people who used to ask much smarter questions than me or the toppers in the class, because they had a very bad experience with the with the results that came out, kind of left the whole academic you know, sphere and left for different jobs or different activities in life. People get deviated. So if you really, if I want to get a message across, it is about the feeling that had I got disheartened by the amount of, you know, the bad marks that I had, I would not have won any of these, or I would not have worked on my project, and I would not be standing here today. Now, in brief, to sum all this up, I would say that it is good to have a direction to go or to chase that would help aid your journey, and there would be hardships in between. The confidence to stay in pursuit of those, you know, those dreams, or is mostly, you know, helped by the fact that you have some sort of skill and that you can learn it on the go. Now, my journey is far from complete. I personally think I've only begun my journey. And these values or these ideas are what helped shape my journey so far. And I think these are ideas worth sharing. Thank you.